Jungkook is a super rich college dude who insulted you in public for being poor. And now you are in seek of revenge for his act. Right now, Jungkook is in your apartment for a group project. Suddenly, you hear him scream. In order to watch the previous parts of this video, please check out the playlist titled Revenge. Standing up quickly, I made my way over to him. What the hell is going on? Are you scared of my sink? I tried to make sense of the situation. His eyes were widened in an almost childlike manner as he stared at something in the distance. It was a spider. A small smirk sprouted on my face. I knew what a good person would do in this situation. A good person would help Jungkook by picking up the spider and releasing it out the window. But I wasn't a good person, and that's not what I was going to do. Are you seriously scared of a tiny defenseless little spider? I teased. Tiny? Are you blind or something? That thing is bigger than the size of my hand, he cried. You are being ridiculous. It's a cute little thing, not scary, I laughed. I happily skipped my way over to the spider. Can you open the window for me? I asked in a seemingly innocent voice. Yeah, sure. I cautiously cupped my hands against the surface of the wall and gently guided the spider into the palm of my hands. Quickly walking over to the window, Jungkook opened it wide for me. I walked over to the window and I moved my hands to the edge of the window. Just as I looked like I was about to release it, I completely changed my direction and threw the spider right at Jungkook's chest. Jungkook let out a low frightened yelp and quickly tried to jump out of the way. Unfortunately for him, his reflexes were a little too slow, and the spider latched right onto the material of his shirt. Get it off, Jeon! Get it off! Jungkook cried out like a madman. The sight became far too amusing for me. Jungkook had not been successful at throwing off the spider. In fact, his breaths were coming out deep and shaky. Starting to feel slightly bad now, I walked over to Jungkook and cupped a hand onto the material of his sleeve and gently coaxed the spider back into my hands. Oh, poor Mr. Spider. You only wanted to give Jungkook a kiss, didn't you? Once I had it tucked between my hands, I walked calmly to the window and released it onto the wall outside. Rubbing my slightly cold hands together, I turned back to face Jungkook with a warm, broad smile. He was glaring at me with such an intense amount of hatred that I momentarily forgot how to speak. Suddenly, feelings of regret started to seep into me, and I started to wonder if I went a little bit too far. Is everything good? He remained completely silent and continued to glare at me. So, you thought that was funny, did you? He spat as he took a large, intimidating step closer to me. I gulped. Does tormenting people with their fears amuse you, Jeon? He said as he stalked even closer to me. Realizing how close he was getting, I started to nervously back away from him. Can't you take a joke? I stuttered out with a nervous laugh. If anyone were to walk in on us, they would think he was about to kiss me. But I knew for sure that it wasn't his intention. I'm sorry, I said, proposing it as more of a question than an apology. His eyes scanned over my face as though he was contemplating something, and then he shocked me altogether and smiled. An apology isn't going to cut it, Jeon. The only way you are going to learn is if you experience what you did to me yourself. Do you honestly think I'm going to give a damn if you throw a spider at me? I'm not remotely scared of them, I laughed. I know, but you are scared of something else. I quickly rolled my eyes, his words not scaring me in the slightest. Someone who had only known me for a handful of weeks was hardly going to know what it took to scare me. Don't believe me, do you? Nope, I said bluntly. Okay, let's see if you believe me after you and I go on a little trip, he winked. Before I could raise an eyebrow, Jungkook suddenly looped his arms around my waist. My breath sucked away from me as I was snatched off the floor and thrown over his shoulder. "What the hell?" I screamed. "Jungkook, what are you doing? Put me down," I yelled. Jungkook started to walk towards the direction of the door. "Come on, Jungkook, this isn't even funny. Put me down," I grumbled. Suddenly, he came to a stop, and about a second later, I heard a loud pinching sound break through the air. "Jungkook, I swear to God, if I am anywhere near an elevator, I'm going to kill you," I screamed. Suddenly, he dropped me from his shoulder, causing me to land rather roughly on my back. Dread instantly filled me as I found myself staring at the metal walls of the inside of an elevator. Jungkook gave me a cheeky wave before pressing a button. My eyes widened further in horror as I saw the elevator doors start to slide closed at an alarmingly quick speed. A quiet sob left my lips as I saw the elevator doors slam shut. "Welcome to your worst fear," Jungkook whispered against the side of my ear. "How could you do this to me?" I screamed. He rolled his eyes and showed his hands into his pockets, all casual-like, as though he hadn't done one of the cruelest things known to man. "Oh, would you calm down? We are literally only going to the top floor and then back again. It will be easy peasy," he laughed. "Easy peasy? I have claustrophobia, you piece of trash." "Well, I have arachnophobia, so an eye for an eye." Suddenly, I felt a large jolt as the elevator started to rise. "No, no, no, get me off! Get me off!" Not knowing what else to do, I started to kick at the elevator door like a madman. I felt like I could hardly breathe, my chest rising and falling faster and faster. "Hey, are you alright?" Jungkook asked in a surprisingly gentle tone. "Don't touch me!" Finally, my eyes turned onto the control buttons. I started to press each and every button randomly in the hopes that the doors would magically open. "Hey, what the hell are you doing? It's not a toy!" Jungkook yelled. "Yeah, I know it's not a toy. That's why I want to get out. If you carry on like that, you might break..." Before he could finish the sentence, the elevator came to an abrupt stop. "Break it," he finished off quietly. I let out a shallow sob sound as I was drowned in absolute darkness. I'm not an elevator expert, but I knew that light switching off was not a good sign. "No, no, no, this can't be possible. We can't be trapped. We can't." "Well, thanks to you and your overactive button pressing self, we are. But it's alright, all elevator buttons have an emergency button." Jungkook pressed a red button in the middle, and he jumped back in shock as it made another sharp sizzling sound. "Seriously? This is broke too? How cheap is this stupid thing?" he cursed. "Check if you have reception." I nodded, then patted my back pocket for my phone. Then I stopped when I found nothing. "It's at the stupid apartment." Typical. Excuse me for not having time to grab it before a self-righteous idiot decided to throw me over his shoulder like a maniac. "Well, I wouldn't have done that if you didn't throw a spider at me." I was surprised to find his face visible, despite the darkness, which I soon realized was because he had his phone on torch mode to help illuminate the room. "Why the hell are you sitting next to me?" Jungkook stared at me in absolute silence. His eyes shined with an emotion which, dare I say it, looked like guilt. His eyes then drifted to look at my bare arms. "You are shivering." "Yeah, no damn. That's what people do when they are scared." A sibber sound soon broke through the air. I pulled my head up curiously and looked down at my arms to find an expensive dark grey jacket draped against me. I was stunned for a second before I came to my senses and snatched the material off me. I scrunched it into a tight little ball and threw it to the corner of the elevator. I don't take charity from bullies. Jungkook quickly picked up his jacket. I widened my eyes in shock as he placed it back around my shoulders before sitting down. He had a look of stubborn persistence burning brightly through his eyes, which I knew meant, "Don't throw it off again, or I will put it right back on." "Why are you doing this?" "Well, I don't want to sit next to your shivering body for however long we are in here. It's distracting." I rolled my eyes. A small hint of a smile broke out onto my face. "Why don't we play a game?" I was taken aback by the suddenness of his question. "No, Jungkook, I don't. Funnily enough, all I care about is escaping this stupid box that you trapped me in." "That's cute. That you think you have a choice?" I proposed it as a question to be nice. Not halfway amused, I simply replied with the finger. "I'm feeling in the mood for Never Have I Ever. What about you?" Yes, Ryan. I do agree that it is an excellent game. We should definitely play," he said with a little nod, pretending as if I was actually participating in the conversation. "Wait, Ryan, what was that?" he asked as he suddenly cupped his hands over his ears as though he was struggling to make out what I had said. I gave him a dry look. "What? You are telling me I am the hottest man you have ever seen?" He gasped overdramatically as he held a hand to his chest. "You keep playing, Jungkook. The only time I'm going to come close to calling you hot is deep within that delusional head of yours. I think you and I both know I'm not being delusional." "Whatever, Jungkookie, let's hurry up and play your stupid Never Have I Ever thing." Jungkook raised an eyebrow, likely surprised that I actually wanted to play. "Okay, I will go first. Never have I ever used someone." As soon as his words were spoken, I stared at Jungkook, feeling consumed by shock. He was on to me. That was way too specific of a never have I ever. Was I seriously that bad at acting that he knew my intentions already? That's a bit of a probing question. "Why are you asking?" I laughed, trying to keep my tone light and unsuspecting. "Well, that's how the game works. You are supposed to ask probing questions." "Well, I guess I haven't used someone before," I lied smoothly. Not wanting to dwell too long on the question, I cleared my throat with a smile. "Anyway, my go next. Never have I ever whispered out the wrong girl's name," I teased with a playful little wink. All amusement was lost from Jungkook's face. "You can't help yourself, can you?" he said, his eyes narrowing with irritation. "I still can't believe you did that. I mean, I know you got a little excited by my little chair dance the other day, but I didn't know it would affect you to the point where you would start fantasizing about me," I teased. "Oh, would you shut up? It was an accident, and I wasn't thinking about you, so don't get excited. I probably got mixed up because I used to sleep with this random girl called Ryan," he rambled quickly. "Jungkookie, I know it's none of my business, but I can't help but wonder," I drawled, putting on my best pretense at genuine curiosity. "I am being punished. That's got to be it. Some god up there is punishing me by trapping me in your presence." Suddenly, I started to look around the walls of the elevator again. They seemed smaller than before. Anxiety started to claw its way back through me. Suddenly, I felt a warm hand place itself over the hand on my knee. I froze and glanced to the side. Jungkook had shuffled slightly closer now. "Hey, don't think about it. Let's just play the game," he said softly. I nodded my head slowly. I hated that I was presenting myself as weak, but I could hardly help it. This whole situation was petrifying. "It's my turn. Never have I ever..." "Jungkook," I interrupted before he could finish. "What?" he asked in confusion. I just wanted to know when you planned on letting go of my hand." Jungkook gripped his hand away from mine in a comedically speedy manner, and I bit my lip to suppress the urge to laugh in his face. He ignored me and leaned his head back against the elevator. "Okay, where was I? Never have I ever..." He paused as he took time to think. "Never have I ever sucked a..." My mouth immediately gaped open, shocked by his question. I immediately gave him a harsh kick. Ouch! Why are you getting all wound up for it? It's a simple question. Can't a guy show curiosity? Why the hell are you so curious about my life or anyway? No reason, just for research, that's all. Research? What the hell? I said, letting out a disbelieving laugh. Oh, whatever, answer the stupid question already. Have you got something to hide? I broke eye contact and looked down to the ground. I can tell you the truth, but you have got to promise not to laugh, I said as I looked back up at him hesitantly. Well, I can promise to try not to laugh, he teased. No, you have got to promise not to laugh. Alright, I promise. I cleared my throat and took a deep breath in and out to prepare myself. So, I got my first boyfriend at 16 and Jungkook waved his hands to stop me from talking. Whoa, slow down. First, as in you have had multiple boyfriends? As in multiple people have been able to put up with your annoying self? Oh, shut up. So yeah, the guy I was dating was perhaps a little bit too old for me. And well, he was quite eager for me to, start doing stuff. What a piece of trash! He was pressuring you and you put up with it? He asked in a tone that sounded genuinely pissed. Oh, would you hush up, Grandma, and let me finish the story? He frowned at the word grandma, but thankfully stopped talking. Well, I wasn't the most experienced, but I wanted to seem like I was, so I told him in confidence that I could, give him a... And the day when I saw his thing, I screamed and ran out of the room, I explained with a nervous chuckle. Jungkook didn't say anything and stared at me with a completely unreadable expression. Then the corners of his lips twitched. Don't you dare. God, I'm sorry, Vayan, but I really tried not to laugh, but I can't, he said as he started to break out into deep melodious bouts of laughter. I hate you. Did you seriously run away at the sight of his thing? He asked in disbelief. Well, I'm sorry, but you would be scared too if you had seen his thing, I cried to my defense. Wait a minute, are you still inexperienced? I'm not if that's what you're wondering. Not that it's any of your business, but I have slept with a fair few people, I explained nonchalantly while trying to pull off a mature kind of casualty. I was lying. I had slept with one guy, one time, and yes, it was Mr. Ex-boyfriend who loved to pressure people into... It was definitely one of the most pathetic moments of my life, but I guess we all have those low moments at one point or another. So, how long have you known your boyfriend now? Jungkook asked curiously. I stared at him stupidly for a couple of seconds before I remembered my lie about Jimin being my boyfriend. Oh right, I have known Jimin all my life. We grew up as next door neighbors, so naturally we became the best of friends, I replied honestly with a fond little smile. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, he's practically become a part of my family. My little brothers absolutely love him. I idealize him even. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I get a little jealous. His eyes danced over my face as I spoke, and I was surprised by how carefully he was listening. You are the oldest. I would figure you would be. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing personal, it's just the elder children are always, what? Bossy, temperamental... That's a lot of talk from someone who is manipulative, attention-seeking, and self-centered younger child. So you have been paying enough attention to me to remember Noah's older than me? Well, I would have to be blind to forget about that hot brother of yours. I don't think I could get him out of my mind even if I tried. Spare me the lecture on how hot you think he is. I was about to tease him for being jealous of his brother again, but then I paused, realizing he was annoyed. Not to probe, but what's the deal between you and him? Why do you dislike him so much? He swallowed harshly and looked at me for a long time before speaking. Wouldn't you hate someone who purposely tried to hurt you? His question took me aback, partly because I was purposely trying to hurt him too. How do you know he did it on purpose? He let out a bitter laugh. Trust me, you can't do what he did by accident. The nosy part of myself was burning to ask what exactly his brother had done to him, but I knew he would never tell me. Well, your brother sounds terrific to me. He's officially off my list, I pronounced. He looked at me fondly and shook his head softly. You are strange. Why? Because I have a list? Not because of that, just because you are, let me guess, annoying, witchy, pain in your... His smile grew slightly. As much as you are those things, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say because you are shamelessly yourself. I'm sensing that was meant as an insult. Actually, it wasn't meant as an insult. I like that about you, he said, his eyes piercing through mine. Did you just compliment me? I asked slowly. He rolled his eyes. Yes, I did. As much as I hate to admit it, underneath all that annoyingness, you are mildly alright. There was a brief moment of silence, which was promptly interrupted by the elevator shaft lurching to life. Oh my god, it's fixed, I cried. Finally, it came to a stop, and I almost let out a sob of relief. I didn't waste any time and immediately jumped out of the elevator like a crazy person. Look at all the space, I said as I started to spin around the corridor in circles. Anyway, it's kind of late, so I should probably get going home. Okay, fine. Vian, Jungkook called before I made a couple of steps. Yeah, I'm sorry. For what? You know, for taking my revenge a little too far. I shouldn't have put you in the elevator. His apology shocked me to the point of sheer speechlessness, and I stared at him dumbly for a while. Well, in your defense, I shouldn't have thrown the spider at you, so I'm sorry too. So, are we even? Even, I smiled. Jungkook gave me a salute goodbye and then marched his way over to the staircase. I stared at him because a stupid, foolish part of me wished he hadn't left. It was a freezing Saturday afternoon, and like the absolute weirdos, Jimin and I were zipped up in our thick winter coats while swinging back and forth on the playground. Jimin and I continued to play on the swing like a bunch of 5-year-old kids when something in the distance caught my eye. Standing in the line at the hot beverage shop was none other than Jeon Jungkook. Jimin, I'm leaving. Why? He asked in confusion. Because over there is a boy I need to annoy into liking me. Oh yeah, I believe it is. Damn, he's looking good today. No wonder you were so happy to be trapped in an elevator with him. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I just couldn't help but notice you had a massive smile on your face at dinner after you got trapped with him. It was almost as though you were warming up to him. Don't make me laugh. I will always hold the same opinion for him as the same day I met him. I would be careful if I were you. Sometimes you find feelings in a place you never thought you would, he said seriously. Yeah, whatever, I said dismissively. Also, can you perhaps go hang out someplace else? I want him to think I'm alone, I asked sweetly. Why? Want me out of the picture so you can cheat on me? He said playfully. Yep, pretty much, I laughed. Now go, I said as I gave him a little gentle push. Once Jimin was gone, I quickly skipped my way over to the shop. He was right at the back, so I easily slid into place beside him. Morning bestie, I greeted. Jungkook looked up from his phone in surprise and glanced my way. You are not my bestie. You are just a girl I put up with. Always with the denial, aren't we? So, what brings you here? Meeting up with a friend perhaps? Oh, wait a second. Do you even have friends? I teased. He looked up at me in irritation. I have friends. Name one. A confident smile spread over his lip. Buddies don't count. I interrupted before he could finish. You have got no names, haven't you? I teased. Shut up. It's alright, I will be your only friend. I guess I was stupid to think I was going to have a peaceful day today. Why are you even here? Same reason you are. To get a... I leaned to the side so I could read the menu. A hot chocolate. I finished. How can I help you guys? I turned around fully and found myself looking at a handsome 20-something-year-old looking guy. If Jungkook weren't here and I didn't have to maintain the Jimin is my boyfriend lie, I would have flirted up a storm. A black coffee, Jungkook said flatly while scrolling through something on his phone. And a hot chocolate please, I said smoothly while firing a flirtatious smile the barista's way. I rested my elbows on the counter and played around with a few loose strands of my hair. The barista's eye caught me for a couple of seconds. His gaze immediately withdrew from mine as though he was embarrassed. Can you add whipped cream to my girlfriend's hot chocolate? Jungkook randomly said without even sparing me a glance. Well, this is the end of today's video. The next episode will be soon uploaded. Thank you for watching. Bye.